From my perspective on Steve, personally, I think I work very, very closely with Steve. We were across a lot of the different areas of the business. My job, commercial director, and his would work together very, very closely, and would work almost effortlessly across the other areas of the business as well. So for me, it's a shame to see Steve go, but I want to continue some of the great work that he did, and perhaps also work on a few new things that I think the club needs to probably focus on as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that the new job title, a Chief Operating Officer, I think is the one. I think I got it right. Where does that remit start and end?
Well, ultimately, it's about the non-football side of the business. We've now got a triumvirate of three, which is effectively Stuart in his similar sort of guise that he has been in, which is on looking after all of the footballing side. You've got myself on the non-footballing side, and you've got Zoe as a conduit between the two areas, working specifically on projects. And I think the key point to that is that I worked with Zoe for at least I think it was about a year before Stuart even arrived in the business. So me and Zoe have that relationship. I now have a great relationship with Stuart and have had since he's been at the football club. So it kind of makes sense, and there's real clarity with our different roles and responsibilities. For me specifically, it's very much around the revenue generating areas of the business. It's also around what makes a football club, which is its stadium management elements to it, and all of the elements that come to putting a match day on. So sometimes some would say that it's a paramount part of the business, but it's also perhaps not the area that's of real focus for a lot of the fans, because they will quite rightly look at what goes on the pitch. But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and a lot of staff at Carrow Road that work incredibly hard, very talented to put on the show that is Norwich City Football Club on a Saturday or on a Tuesday. So yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned about the new leadership team, because obviously Zoe and Stuart, husband and wife, and then there's you as well. And I'd be interested, I mean, there has been eyebrows raised of it, of course, and I'd be interested what you would say to supporters who maybe have reservations about that dynamic leading the club.
Well, I think we need to be judged on results. So actions speak louder than words, if I'm honest, from my perspective. We've worked together quite closely for a period of time now, so this isn't a new relationship. I think there's real clarity, but it's hard to explain, obviously, without going through the different roles and responsibilities of each individual. But a collaborative working sort of environment is exactly what the owners wanted. It's what the board wanted, and if I'm honest, it's kind of in keeping with us as a football club. It doesn't really matter who is either in a senior position at the club, or whether you are in a non-senior position. We're all working towards the same direction and the same goal and the same target, and it's to support Daniel, Stuart, and the first team, and to do our jobs and be the best that we possibly can be at them. So I think sometimes too much is made of who's at the top of an organisation, shall we say, if we can put it like that. For me, it's not about that. It's about leading by example and creating more of a one team and one culture that's striving to be the best that it can be. And I think we can probably do that very, very well with the three of us, especially with Zoe being that conduit between the two sites now. We need to bring the two sites together. We need to feel like one club, and I think we can achieve that very, very quickly with the culture that we're creating at the club. Which
is between Colney and Carrow Road, I guess, because there's been a lot of work going on at Colney. So
yeah, massive amounts, and I think it's important to note. Tom Smith came up with the original concept of the bond, which was game changing for this football club, because it gave us an opportunity, with the fantastic support of all of the investors, but in general the support that we have of the football club, gave us an opportunity to really invest in our future, to define our strategy on and off the pitch, and from my perspective to really allow everyone at the football club, non-football and football, to get behind a project that we know will absolutely benefit our football club in the long term. Supporters, I believe, can now start to see it, and the fruits of that labour and the products that come through it. But Zoe was a massive part of that, and Zoe helped deliver that project and that bond programme with the support of everyone else. So what you've effectively got is you've got myself heading up Carrow Road and looking after all of the revenue generating areas and support services that come with that. You've got Zoe looking at the overall culture and one club mentality, and you've got Stuart doing what Stuart's been doing so successfully for the last we'll say 18 months or so. And I think we can go from strength to strength here. So I don't think too much should be made of a change at the top, because everyone contributes to the success of the club. It's very much a one club feel. So there shouldn't be any real trepidation around change. So.
Final question. I'm sure you've got a to-do list. What's at the top of it?
Well, I think without pinpointing one specific priority, I think there are 3 or 4, to be quite honest. We've got to continue the good work with engaging with fans. We want to support safe standing. We want to work with CSF and generate a greater relationship there. We've got to continue to commercialise our business. We've got to balance the books accordingly. Being a self-financed club, we've got to make sure that we generate the revenue required to give us the best opportunity to spend the money on the pitch. We've got to be more efficient as a business, full stop. But mainly for me, it's around how we're working together, and we've got great visions and great values at this club. We now need to start really living and breathing them, and pointing everyone in the same direction, and making sure that we can actually deliver on what we say that we're going to deliver, and make people proud of the club, which I know that they are, but I think we can probably do even more in that sense.
Ben, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.